Agbemi, who of course will be I don't know your thoughts anyways, but from a lot of Nigerians who have this anxiety over the forced budget of the Buhari government, what do you make of the delay that we have seen? Mr. Okwefa has explained that it's probably not unusual, but again, it stayed for 21 days in the office of the president before this time.
I think I need to quickly correct a notion that is being pandered by my colleague at the Lagos end. The National Assembly comprises of the Senate and House of Representatives, and each bill, particularly appropriation, is in the purview of both chambers of the National Assembly to address. Nigerians must be guided aright concerning that because that's a constitutional position. What we have experienced thus far is a manifestation of the challenges of the political elite class that we have in the Nigerian state. How do I mean? We initiated a governance transition management system from one regime to the other, but it was poorly managed because people were more interested in the dynamics of sensationalism without getting prepared for actual governance service delivery. It is equally a manifestation of the dysfunctional intra-party dynamics manifested in lack of party discipline and loyalty. The other dimension of the issue that we are dealing with is that there is a weak element of intra-party conflict management system in the APC. If we agree that these are the real issues and that the APC seemingly has some form of lack of cohesion, internal cohesion, then we can understand why we've had the seeming gaps that we've had thus far concerning the 2016 appropriation. Mind you, you will recall that when President Muhammadu Buhari came into office, he actually sent a supplementary budget for 2015. And that was expeditiously addressed and there were no issues, meaning therefore that it is possible to deliver in terms of executive-legislature relationship. What we have experienced, particularly concerning the 2016 budget and appropriation, is the manifestation of the poor internal dynamics of the ruling APC, because ordinarily you do not expect the kind of bickerings that we've had thus far in between the legislature and the executive, and the kind of demonization agenda that has been initiated against the legislative branch. We hope that the lessons learned from this experience will begin to manifest. Mind you, one would have expected that the Minister of National Planning and Budget, who happened to have been a senator of the Federal Republic before now, would have played some stabilizing role. And equally, Senator Udoma, with his wealth of experience with the business community and the civil society and the legal profession, should have led in some few things. But I suspect some of these officers, public officers, are exhibiting some elements of fear in terms of the way they engage the other stakeholders that they are supposed to partner with. Another person that should have played a significant role is the essay to the President of National Assembly, and that is the person of Senator Ita Enang. You would have expected that these two men in particular would have brought to bear on the dynamics of executive-legislative relationship to manage this process in such a manner that we would not have had the kind of hiccups we've had, either in terms of the number one thing that we experienced, the sudden disappearance or reappearance and the implosion or whatsoever you want to call it, or the padding of the budget, and then eventually the discussion and the fact that we are now dealing with a budget that is now under reconciliation between the executive branch.
Okay, just a moment. Let's get a reaction to that. With what we have on the ground, he's highlighted some of the issues which a lot of people have old similar thoughts about the fact that not everything is going well in the APC, and that's why we're seeing, and it's affecting the budget, the passage of the budget. But we've seen the kind of meeting that happened yesterday at the Villa Does that look like a political intervention or solution coming into play?
I tried to explain, but let me first react to his assertion that my description of the kind of government we run is not correct. That's not true. I told you the responsibility of the legislator and the executive are different. And we all know the legislator is the Senate and the reps. So I don't know where I got that impression from. Now let's go back. The president can have them meet. Certain things are not there. The body language definitely may not be too good from the executive and the legislature. And we all know what could have led into this. I'm talking of the whole election of the Senate president, House of Reps, and all the arguments back and forth. But the more problem we have is a lot of us don't really understand the way this thing works. Now, if you send a budget to the legislature, they would send this budget to various committees that would discuss the budget. The budget goes back to the various, either Senate or the legislature. Then the appropriation committee of both will meet. That is not a 10 days, 15 days, less than 30 days. This budget in the sense came too late. It came around November 38 or so, shortly after the governors were, the ministers were sworn in. Now, don't forget that, so you start counting from November. Now, like you said, it brought in an appropriation, a stopgap. And immediately that was the one that contains this issue of the subsidy payment.
Yeah, the subsidy.
Now, that was done. Now, let me come to issue of the appropriation. Nigeria, the last budget, the one we are currently operating, don't forget, instead of running from January to December, we'll be running this budget from March to April. Sorry, is it? That will be
the 2015 budget expiration of the supplementary ends on March 31st.
When does
the 2015 expiration?
That's what I'm saying.
So we are supposed to start another life of another budget in April.
Don't forget, I keep giving examples. Don't forget, Obama spent 8 years in government. The first 2 years or so of Obama, he asked a Democrat Congress.
But in the last time,
I'm trying to give you. Yeah. Now, the last 4 years, Obama had issues with budget, especially after his healthcare bill passed. That was a bill that has been in Congress for almost 20 years, since the time of Kennedy. He got it passed. Beautiful. But since then, he's been having budget issues based on debt financing and debt ceiling. So what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not new here. It's not new in democracies to see this kind of argument. What the members of the public need to understand, the president is correct to say, I am not going to sign until corrections are made. Right. The issue now is, for how long should Nigerians wait? Those are the issues. But this would have been corrected if the budget in the recess had been sent around October. Okay. But it couldn't have been sent around October because this was an entirely a brand new government that brought the ministers. Don't forget, I said budget is a policy document. Okay. It is the minister that will defend the budget, not the permanent secretary.
Let's quickly take a moment. And when we return, we'll dig more into this matter. Join us again.